Welcome to the Collector Chatter podcast, everybody. This is episode 12. Today's episode, we will be talking about DC Funko Pops. We did an episode about Marvel, so we obviously have to follow it up with a DC one. And of course, getting into all the news and everything that happened over this holiday weekend. And Charlie, how was your holiday? How was everything over the weekend?
Yeah, I had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you did as well, and all of you listeners. Also, Black Friday, we had some really good pops that were announced. I feel like a few different pops were announced this week, and that really caught my eye that I really, wanted. And Guy even went on a Black Friday hunt to get a Winnie the Pooh soda at Hot Topic, which was fun, which I had done a little bit, like a little opening of it on our channel, which hopefully you guys check that out. But a lot of cool stuff, and I had a great holiday. So how about you?
Good. It was good. It was good. Thanksgiving, spent time with family, which was nice. This was one of the first times I didn't really like go out and go crazy on Black Friday or do anything like that.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of shopping online, nothing crazy. I think we're kind of doing it like little by little this year. But yeah, overall it was a good week. It was relaxing. I wouldn't say anything crazy. I got my Christmas tree, which was fun. So we're doing all that kind of stuff. We're very excited for, spend Christmas. My daughter's now 2, so she's a little bit more getting into it versus last year not really knowing what was going on. So it'll be fun. But yeah, that was kind of how the weekend went. I know Black Friday obviously being a huge shopping day and things like that. Funko, of course, is an item that people buy and for gifts and stuff like that. So it's going to be part of our news. So we want to get into, anything that dropped in the last week or is announced to be dropped, and including which this episode will be dropping after the Cyber Monday. So Cyber Monday just happened. So that was another thing that Funko was involved in. We'll get into that. It wasn't too crazy, honestly, in my opinion. But we could start off actually with that soda that you were talking about. So Winnie the Pooh soda did drop.
Yeah.
It's in an actual Hot Topic stores, and it's a Hot Topic exclusive, which is pretty cool because it's the first soda that's like exclusive to that store.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I had actually, when I saw this one be announced, I'd really, really wanted it. And I feel like it was announced a while ago now and kind of forgot, like, when is this going to drop? I had no idea it was going to be a Hot Topic exclusive. I actually follow one thing that's kind of cool about Hot Topic and Box Lunch, which are owned by the same company. They make Instagram accounts for their own stores. So I follow the ones that are by me. And I noticed that they posted, and I was like, oh my God. And I was telling my wife, Nikki, I'm like, I need to go get this, because we weren't really going out Black Friday shopping either. We were kind of just, doing most of it online. But I have a Hot Topic legitimately like right up the road for me. So I was like, let me go see if I can get this. I went there, got there right when it opened. The store was dead. They said they only had 3, but the person in front of me got the first 2. You were allowed to buy 2. I got the last one. I really wanted to try to get, at least 2, one for me, one for you. I couldn't believe that they were, already sold out, and that they only had 3. Because one thing that really bothered me, which I had told you, was this account posted a picture saying they had 9. Then the next day, they deleted the post and magically only had 3, aka the workers took them. I'm like,
that's crazy.
That really bothers me with these like limited edition stuff. I get working at the stores is like a perk, but they never should have posted that they had 9. Then I wish they kind of just did it behind closed doors, and I never would have known. I would have thought they only had 3. So that really bothered me. But it's a really cool soda, and I'm pumped that I got it. And it looks like maybe more stores are going to start getting exclusive sodas now.
Yeah, which would be pretty cool. I know for a while now, like in the community and being on lives and like people that talk about sodas, it was always talked about like, are they going to have like these store specific like exclusives, Hot Topic, Box Lunch, Target, things like that. And none of them really existed except for like the PX preview exclusive that you would see. Besides that, you obviously got your Funko Shop and then the con exclusives. So it was actually interesting that this is one that's dropping. I think there's going to be a GameStop exclusive is one of the ones that was announced at some point, right?
Yeah, it's one of the Flash characters, Godspeed, is going to be
so that's cool. So that's cool that they're doing that. It's cool that it's kind of like these side other characters you didn't think about. But yeah, Winnie the Pooh was one that I remember. Like when it was announced, I was like, this is super cool. I love flocked sodas. So the chase being flocked obviously was be another one to try to get. Obviously, you only got the common, which is still a super cool soda because that's a very, very, iconic character. I mean, it's Winnie the Pooh. I unfortunately have not been able to get it. The Hot Topic by me is not so close. I mean, it's not terribly far, but I would have to get into, a mall. There's two malls kind of in opposite directions for me to get to a Hot Topic. So I wasn't able to get it. Maybe it'll pop up again. But one thing I do know about Hot Topics is they do receive their sodas in like individual like boxes and stuff. So they don't get like full cases, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, even if they got 9 random ones, it's kind of messed up that they said they were going to get 9 or that they had 9. And then the next day when they open, they don't even have them. So that's a little crazy. I mean, it'd be one thing if you went a few days later and they're like, oh, well, we only have 3 left. It's like, all right, well, that makes sense. But yeah, the fact that they did that was it was probably a mess up on their end. Whoever was running their stores, Instagram, totally messed up on that end if they were going to try to buy some of them themselves. But yeah, we've gone on rants with that with stores, Target specifically, where we feel like their employees kind of take advantage of that. But I guess, like you said, it is a perk of them being able to work there. I'm sure they get, to get things quicker
which is fair
when it drops. So, but that's a cool one. That's definitely, we're big soda fans and soda collectors. So that was one that I was really excited for. One thing that I did grab, which I was very excited for, is obviously as a horror fan, is they finally dropped the Pop Town Michael Myers pop. So if you guys haven't seen this, it's super sick. It's the Mike Myers pop in the front, and then it's his house. So it's the Myers house in the back, which is part of like the Pop Town. This was announced a while back. Halloween, October came and gone, and no one knew what was going on. It was a Spirit exclusive, so Spirit Halloween store, which they do a lot of exclusive pops, obviously for Halloween and stuff. And this one, I had saw a report that it was coming out. It was in and out of sale, and I was like, all right, well, hopefully I get it. And then actually a good person in the community, Eric, Two Boys and Their Pops. He's a huge horror fan. He knows I'm a huge horror fan. He actually sent me the link on Instagram. So thank you. And I was able to see it and grabbed it right away because I was like, this was something I've been waiting for anyway.
Super detailed.
Yeah, it's so awesome, man. Like, and I mean, I have pretty much all the other Mike Myers pops. So like the pop itself is sick, but the house, yeah, it's literally the house from the movie. So that was a super cool one, and I'm very excited for that.
I have a question for you about that pop though. Is the Michael Myers one a special mold just for this, or do you have that? Like,
so it is the newer. So remember how they released like newer mold? Yep. So like actually over here. So they released an Amazon exclusive. It's a bloody one. They have the 10-inch one. It's all based off of this like style mold. Okay. So the face like and everything. Now, I believe that, I don't know for sure, I have to double check, but I believe that the stance or the way I think he still has a knife. It might be in the other hand, and it looks like it's a little different. I don't think it's the exact same pop literally in there, but if it is different, it's very slightly different. But I believe it is a little different. But I would have to double check again with the ones that just released. It's more like the newer molds though than the OG ones, that came out a while back. But yeah, it's part of kind of like that line because they announced it when they released that regular one, the bloody one, and then the 10-inch version. And then that house was all kind of like under all that together. That same new line. But yeah, that was one. Super excited. If you guys were able to grab that yourselves, let me know. I know I had put up on the link on my Instagram. Normally, if I see some pretty cool hot things, I'll try to throw them up on my Instagram. I'm not one of these big pages that's like, oh, this just dropped, here's the direct thing. But once in a while, I'll throw it up on my story with a link because if you guys miss it and you happen to see my story, you can just pop on and then, pick it up. But that was one of the ones that I did. I was very excited about. Another thing that I know we both were able to grab, I was hoping that I got it before today because I know you got yours in because we were going to open it, but we'll do this in a future episode, is the new Deadpool Mystery Box.
Yeah.
So that's something that's pretty cool. I think I like that idea. I think I would like them doing this more often with some characters. I think it'd be pretty cool. If you guys don't know about it, GameStop has an exclusive mystery box, which it reminded me a lot of like the Marvel Collect the Core boxes and those kind of boxes because you get a pop, and this will get one pop. You get one pop, then you get like a lanyard, a pin, sticker, like a couple little things like that. But what's cool is the 4 pops. There's 4 options that you can get. You don't know where you're gonna get, so it's one of 4. They're all Deadpools. But there are some pretty cool ones. I like the Blacklight one personally. I think that one's super cool. There's one with him like in
The
a floaty, like he's swimming or
yeah,
something,
with
I
like
think.
water guns.
Yeah. And then there's a paintball one. Yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's
it's
like the water
paintball. It's a
guns, but it's
paintball
like
gun.
paintball like all
Yeah,
over his face. And then there's one more.
I
I
can't
can't
remember
remember
what
what
it
the
was, which means it's
but
probably the worst one.
yeah, it's the one I was gonna say that I was like, I'm not too excited about that. But I still think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're doing this. I know GameStop does it a lot where they'll do like during the holidays or Black Friday boxes, that kind of thing. But yeah, these recently dropped. So I know we were able to pick up one each. So we're waiting on those. Well, I'm waiting on mine, and then we'll open them up. Hopefully we'll get some cool stuff for you guys as far as that goes. But you were a fan of that box, right?
Yeah, I you took the words right out of my mouth. I thought it was really cool, and I mean it's super, it's not expensive at all. It was a really good price, and I do like that it was the mystery style. Like you said, GameStop has done this in the past, but it's like, okay, you're getting this special box for, Black Friday or around the holiday time, and you knew what you were getting. I really do like the fact that we have, we don't know which Deadpool pop we're going to get. And even like
Mhm.
the pens there's a few different pens, like they're all
Yep.
different. Like you have tons of combinations to get all different things, which I noticed online in the community. Some people were buying multiple of them, and
Yeah.
supposedly someone found out how much each weighed. And if
Yeah.
you knew how much it weighed, what pop was in there, which is like insane.
Yeah, it's like a half an ounce difference and stuff.
Yeah.
It made no sense. I mean,
But
I guess if you were like hardcore and trying to get one and you had a scale with you when you went into the store, maybe that's the only way
I
you
know.
would.
For me, it's too. It's like I love Deadpool. I don't necessarily collect all the Deadpool pops. So like I'm happy with like the one I got, and whatever I get, I get. Like, yes, there's certain ones I would prefer over the others, but I really
Yeah.
like the idea, and I feel like they should be doing this more often.
Yeah, I totally agree. Same thing with me. Like Deadpool, there's so many pops, but I do like Deadpool pops for the most part. So I feel like either way, whatever one I get, I'm gonna like. I have my favorites that I'm hoping to get, but either way, I'll be happy with whatever one we do get. So then we also had a pretty cool 2-pack that was out. So this is the first time I ever heard of Zavi. I don't know if that's how you say it,
Yes,
but Zavi exclusive. So it is a Superman and Lois, which is the Christopher Reeve Superman, and he's basically flying, holding on to her hand. She's next to him. It's a 2-pack of both pops, both on stands flying, which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't grab it and pre-order it. I believe you
I
did, or
grabbed
you were thinking
this.
about it. But
I
okay.
pre-ordered this. I mean, we were talking. I was going to bring this up today in our episode about DC. They do not make a Christopher Reeve pop. I don't
Mhm.
understand how that is a thing. When I saw this, I legitimately like was thinking about this last week too, which is even crazier, that I really wish I had one. And when I saw that, I was like, I did a double look. I'm like, I need to get this. I did pre-order it just because not only do I just want it for my collection because Superman is one of my favorite characters of all time. I also do feel like it will probably have pretty decent value. It's the first Christopher Reeve pop. And yeah, I think the molds look really cool. They didn't like reuse like anything before. It's really cool. It's like him flying with Lois, and
Mhm.
I love it. I can't wait to get it. And I've seen that store that online. I do believe it's based in the UK, and they have a US store.
Okay.
It's just like there's so many random like exclusives these days. Like, why is this an exclusive to that store? It just, to me, it's so random, but yeah, I had to pick it up.
Yeah, I agree. It was weird. I didn't know the name of it. I've been seeing that a lot lately, where you'll see like a something exclusive, and I'm like, well, I've never really heard of this. And most of the time, I agree. It's usually like overseas or like an overseas retailer or something like that, or a site. But this one, I agree. It's super cool. I didn't grab it myself, but it is a cool pop because of, like you said, the Christopher Reeves aspect of it being the first time, and the mold. I really thought the mold was a really cool mold, especially as a 2-pack, and you have them both flying. I don't think I've ever seen a 2-pack like that. I know they've been flying pops and up on stands, but as a 2-pack, I think this is
No.
probably like the first
And
time.
it
So
like looks like his Superman too. Like,
yeah,
if you're a Superman fan, if you saw it, if you had them all up in a line, you'd be like, okay, that's the OG Superman. Like,
yeah, it was pretty cool actually that it was. And then we had so this was something that we've kind of newly gotten into, which is the Funko NFTs. So of course,
yes.
those are the booster packs that you get. You get these packs of cards that aren't physically cards, but you get to get these digital cards and they move. And then some of them are redeemable for, real actual pops, physical pops. And I know last time with the NFT drop of
Freddy
the
Funko
like
for
Halloween Freddy one, you were able to actually win one of those, which is super cool. I did not,
Yes.
but this time we have Star Trek, which I thought was really cool for a few reasons. One, it's cool because the Star Trek stuff is awesome. The redeemable stuff, there's actually I think 5 different redeemable
Yes.
pops, which is awesome for the physical ones, and they are like blacklight, which is super cool as well. So like the colors and the box and everything. So this is a cool drop. This is actually dropping today. So November 30th, just so you guys know, 11 a.m. in the Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are, an NFT fan, I know we are kind of starting to get into it. NFT is like this big thing where you can really make money off of it. So we're kind of hoping that it blows up, but Funko is now getting into it. But the Star Trek ones will be going on sale. So I'm going to probably look at this to try to see if they sell it in like single packs and then like the premium packs, which is like a pack of what, like 4 or something. So you get them like all in one, or 3, maybe you get them all at once.
It's 3.
Yeah. And it's usually like 5 cards per pack. And obviously they all have rarities and stuff. So that's the whole, kind of fun of it. You open up the pack, you don't know what you're going to get, and hope to get something super rare. If you do get these ones that have redeemable physical pops, then that's even better because they're very rare, but you're going to at least get a super cool pop. But I like that this one had like a good amount of them.
Me too.
Versus the Freddy one was a little bit more limited. I think 3 or something was on the Freddy one. So,
and I do think this time there's no sodas, it's just pops. But
yes,
I even believe that some of the Star Trek characters, I don't remember off the top of my head all of the 5, but they're new pops that are just for this line. Like the Captain Kirk one, like that one's already been made where he's sitting in the captain's chair, but this is a blacklight version. I think there's a new Scotty pop, which they don't make that one yet. I'm trying to remember the other ones, but I am a
it was a Spock
big Star Trek fan, so I'm excited for these, and I've gone on a roller coaster with the NFTs. I went from being like no way, and like I'm pretty interested in them now, and I love that Funko's doing it. So I'm definitely going to be trying to grab these.
Yeah, I'm interested in the sense of like if it fits something I like or I would collect or look really cool, or the fact that they have these like redeemable, chances to get these physical pops. I'm in it. I think some of the time, if it's something a little weird, like they did that band, Iron Maiden,
perfect
and
example.
like some of those, I'm like, yeah, I did not get any of those. I was not really into them. So at least with this, and it seems like not as many people are going so crazy. So you have a good chance of getting it as long as you log in right away. That process, we've talked about this before, that process in the queue is a lot better than Funko Shop's process of, buying their con stuff. So I think, it's a good chance to get it. But if you guys are interested, definitely check it out today. Hopefully, if you're listening to us, otherwise, hopefully you didn't miss it. But
another interesting thing, though, before we move on, I want to tell you guys about the NFTs with Funko if you weren't aware, because I've been doing a lot of research about it recently. And the first ones that dropped were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I'm actually a little upset I didn't get those because I'm a big Turtles fan, but at that point I wasn't into them. But what I've been reading is, so for the ones that if you get that's redeemable for a pop, there's a certain date that you need to have that in your account by. And I know some people haven't opened their packs yet, and they're trying to sell them on the blockchain and make money off of it. But some people are saying, don't get tricked if they try to sell you something after that date comes. Once that date happens where you can redeem the pop, you can no longer get it if you get that NFT afterwards, which I know some people were not aware of. So I know some people are like, why are people sitting on these packs not opening them? Because a lot of people think the value is going to go down for the Funko NFTs, because a big part of them is being able, ironically, to get the physical pop. And once that day passes, you can buy them later secondhand. And if you get that one that is redeemable, you don't get it. So I thought that was interesting when I read that.
So that's actually a good tip there for anybody who has these NFTs and maybe sitting on them or waiting. I understand why, some people might sit on them for a little bit and, try to build the anticipation, but make sure that you do look out for, like Charlie said, these dates. I know, like you said, the Ninja Turtle one either just happened or it's about to happen.
It's right? About to just happen. So it's going to be the first one they can redeem, like how Mick said that I got the which we talked about before, the Halloween Freddy Funko Soda. Like I don't have that physical can yet. I think it's going to come in February.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say it's like a few months out.
yeah, if I don't have that in my account though, when that happens, like I wouldn't get it. And then if I give it to someone after the fact, they wouldn't get it. So
Yeah,
yeah, just keep an eye out on
which is
that.
which would be crazy. Yeah, but yeah, that's a cool one. It's a big drop. I know, like we were really excited when we saw what they look like. If you haven't seen them, definitely check them out online. They look really cool. Blacklight, obviously a huge Blacklight fan, so that's an awesome pop for sure. Just quickly to run through a couple of the quick pops that are coming out too as well. Hawkeye, they announced the Kate Bishop pop with Lucky, which I know we're both fans of the Hawkeye show so far. That has been out first 2 episodes. Definitely check it out if you're a Marvel fan for
Yeah,
sure. I think it's super cool. So the Kate Bishop one is awesome. This line, I'm sure we said this before, it's going to drop as the episodes drop.
Yes.
And, as characters get revealed and stuff like that, I'm sure they're going to continue to drop. So this episode, I'm assuming we're going to get a little bit more reveals. So we'll probably get another line of a few, from the Hawkeye show. So, and then other than that, we also had a Tinkerbell Deluxe Pop that dropped. I saw real quick. Nothing too crazy.
No.
It seems like they're kind of redoing a lot of these like pops, just trying to get more and more out there. There also was a pop in the box Venom on Throne, which I thought looked pretty cool. That one came out for pre-order.
Really cool.
Looked awesome,
but it looks cool.
Yeah, I passed on it because I don't get too much stuff from Pop in the Box, but it did look pretty cool. And then one that we wanted to really bring up, which we thought was going to be a lot hotter than it actually ended up being, is we announced, obviously, I think last week we were talking about that it was going to drop on Black Friday, was the Iron Man 18-inch. So Iron Man 18-inch dropped on Black Friday. It was sometime in the morning, almost midday. And it was still as of right now, hopefully when you hear this, but as of right now, it's still out there. So if you thought you missed it or whatever reason, Funko Shop still has it. I was surprised that it didn't sell faster. Maybe not right away in an hour, 2 hour thing, but I thought within that day it would definitely sell. I was confused. I put up a poll myself, actually. I wanted to actually tell you these numbers. I want to look it up because this was crazy. So I put up on my Pop Mix page, I put up a poll because I just wanted to see what other people thought, because I was super excited. Charlie was super excited.
We were freaking out we may not be able to get it.
I literally thought, I was like, I don't know if, we said the same thing. We're like, are we going to be able to get this? Because it's going to be such a crazy drop. Everyone's going to love it. It's Iron Man. And, that's a big deal. And when I put up the poll, I asked, did anyone pay or did you pass? It actually was 64% pass to 36% pay. And that's just based off of, the people on, who follow me or whatever. And I was surprised by that because I was super excited about it. I think we talked about this, but I feel like it's probably one of two things. One is probably the price point, which we knew it was going to be a higher end. It's $100. That's usually what it's the biggest pop they make that they sell like retail. And the second thing is the size. It is a big pop. A few people did message me and they're like, it's just way too big. I don't have room for it. The box is like enormous. It doesn't even have a window in it. It's just literally a box. And then like the picture, you have to take it out. But I don't know. I love the 18-inch. I don't have any of them, but I really want the Batman. I know we were able to order that one because it's going to be re-releasing eventually. Entertainment Earth, the Batman, the Adam West Batman is like a crazy grail that is like impossible to find. I know they make the Groot in the pot.
Yeah, they make a
Pikachu.
They make a Harry Potter.
But it's very limited. Yeah, it's very limited.
I've always wanted one,
and those are sought after though. But like people like those, and they're. And I thought Iron Man, it's the end game Iron Man, which we're not really seeing Iron Man anymore. Like it's an awesome way to like kind of end his legacy, whatever you could say. Let's say in pop form, it's an awesome mold. I thought it looked cool. And I don't know. It just didn't seem like
dude. I'll go. I mean, obviously it's not in my possession yet, but I have no problem saying like I think this is ultimately going to be one of my like favorite things I have in my collection. Like I've always wanted an 18-inch one, never pulled the trigger. I did really want that Adam West Batman one, but like that was so hard to get. When it first came out, and I was just like, this is finally one that like I'm gonna get. And I love the character. It's one of my all-time favorites. And I'm shocked. Like I don't get it.
I'm sure people will chime in. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, comment down below. Like I said, I'm assuming it's the price point and the size, and people just weren't really. But I thought people would still be more excited for it. Either way, still buying it. Even like I don't even flipper people aren't even. It seemed like weren't buying it. Like
I
it just
wonder if
wasn't
they made a
as
lot
big.
of this one
That's the other
more
thing.
than
It could be
usual.
a lot. It could be a very big range, maybe. We don't know the actual amounts, so it's tough to say, but it's still up. So who knows if it will sell. I love it though. I think it's gonna be super sick. I can't wait to see it. I got the Diecast Iron Man and I was super excited about that one. So this is just another one that I think personally, I think it's an awesome pop and it's a big one, but it's the first time, like we said, it's the first time we ever get either of us get one of these 18-inch. I still want to get that Batman one, so I can't wait till that one to come in. But yeah, I'm a fan of it. Let us know if you were or you weren't, because obviously majority of the people weren't, and for whatever reason, you can let us know why. Maybe you guys passed on it, if you just didn't think it was good or didn't like it, or if it was that price, or you just don't have room for it because it is a pretty big,
Yeah.
pretty big box. But yeah, I thought it was super cool. So that dropped on Black Friday, as well as this SDCC toucans, which I know we
Yeah.
both passed on those. I don't know how I feel about those. There's like two different ones. One's like a robot metal looking one, whatever, and then the other one was wooden,
Yeah.
like a tiki.
For me,
But
yeah. Like I'm weird. Like as much as I'm a big collector and I want to have, a just, always add to my collection. Those
mhm,
to me, even though they're limited, you could buy them on Funko.com. Like if I went to the show, I probably would try to get it, but like I wasn't there. I don't need it for my collection. I felt the same way about like obviously I've gone to New York Comic Con a million times and I've never bought in the ad ones that they have there for the show, like the rat and the pigeon. But like,
yeah.
I don't see why you'd really want that if you don't go to the show. To me, these were like the same thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, I saw people that went to it and did pick it up, but it sold. They sold obviously
Sold
pretty
out.
quick. Yeah, they sold out. Before obviously the Iron Man did, because that did not sell out. But yeah, that was what dropped on Friday, and then on Monday, of course, Cyber Monday, they did a little bit of a like a spread out release. They
Yeah.
announced it
Week.
beforehand, which is pretty cool that they announced it and they tell you, hey, this is what we're going to drop. 4 pops, I believe it was. One at this time, an hour later at this one, which was cool. They're literally all still there. No one really went
Nothing
after
was
those, that's for sure.
nothing was
They were all
special.
just Funko Shop exclusives essentially, but I really feel like, man, Funko Shop exclusives have been really lacking overall. Like you get 1 and 2 here and there that are like, all right, that's pretty cool. But overall, like the majority of them as an exclusive to Funko Shop, it's
They're
it's
not
not
as
really like
special
getting me excited.
anymore. Like they used to be pretty rare actually, and now I feel like
Hmm.
instead of giving them to certain retailers, they just want to get 100% of the cut. Like that's just like what it is, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
and even like I'm a huge, everyone knows, huge Marvel fan. I collect most of them. Like I didn't even get either of the Marvel ones that dropped today. I mean, the zombie, me and Migs were talking about it before. I mean, I don't, this mold did not need to be made. Like they already make
Yeah.
it in a common and then a 10-inch of Captain America. And that one's better. He's holding the shield.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this, like why?
This one was very plain. It was weird.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
then they
I didn't
made
get it.
like Icarus from Eternals just wearing normal clothes. Like,
Yeah.
I
And
don't
it
know.
made an Aurora with that pin, which we talked about.
They're
There
just
was the
making
Jasmine with the
yeah.
pin, which was a New York well, not New York. It was this Emerald City Comic Con one, which is coming out. And I'm like, those are just normal ones. Like that should just be dropping on the regular, not like as these like
Yeah.
super special
And then
events.
the Russell Wilson Gold Series. And I don't know,
Yeah,
like
which that makes no sense.
like
They
the
already have all
chases,
those.
yeah, and the chases him wearing a Pro Bowl jersey. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No one wants that.
Yeah, it was very, very weak. It's not no idea what they were doing. But yeah, that was the drop. Did you guys grab anything with Cyber Monday? I know we definitely didn't. We passed on that hard, but that's good because it'll, save some money for some other stuff that we're gonna pick up. But yeah, that was the news for this week. It was a little crazy, a little, I mean, obviously it's a Thanksgiving holiday, big shopping weekend anyway. So I thought it would have been a little bit more coming out, like the holiday sodas. We're still waiting for a lot of those.
I'm still waiting for the
So like
Halloween sodas.
yeah, oh man, that Freddy. I feel that thing's like literally not dropping.
And
But
the Mickey. The
yes,
Mickey never came out in like states, did it?
No, same Vampire Mickey. Yeah, there's a lot that are super far behind on. A lot of these you can find as international cans on like other third-party
Yeah.
sites, but right now Funko is just really dropping the ball and dropping it themselves. But we'll see what happens. But we're gonna get into talking a little bit about DC. So if you guys have been, listening to our podcast or watching here on YouTube, we do actually once in a while want to like talk about a certain line. And the first one that we ever did was Marvel, obviously being one of the bigger lines. And we just felt necessary that, today when we talk about something, we're going to go into DC. We just want to talk about DC. So DC, when it comes to Funko, if you guys don't know, is under Pop Heroes. That's essentially how they do it. So it is a little different than Marvel, where it'll be branded Marvel. You do get a DC, I think, logo on most of the pops, like on the
Yeah.
back or on the bottom, because of trademark purposes and all that kind of stuff. But it is under Pop Heroes. When you see a little pop blurb on the top, it'll say Heroes. So I just started looking into just to kind of get an idea of like, what was some of the old OG DC stuff. And obviously Batman was the very first one. So it was in 2010. So these pops have been out for a while. So the OG original 01 Batman was back in 2010. There's over 400 different DC pops now. So it's a pretty big line. It's not as big as Marvel for sure. I think personally, just because Marvel comes out with so many, the MCU blew it up. So many shows and movies.
Yes.
And we talked about this, how the lines expand insanely. But with DC, it seems to be more back to like the comic book, like roots and like some of the animated shows and some of that kind of stuff. And then I found that with DC, what they do a lot as well is like holidays and special theme things. They'll kind of throw out some of their big names: Batman, Joker, Wonder Woman, that kind of thing, Superman. But yeah, that's kind of like just a little bit of the history on how Funko with Batman being the first one. I know it transitions into sodas, same kind of thing. We talked about this before. Batman was one of the first sodas as well. The DC line of sodas is pretty decent size. I have a lot of them. I have actually like almost an entire one of these shelves is all DC. So that's
It's
kind of
definitely
one of
one
my
of the
favorites.
bigger soda lines. I would say it's bigger than the Marvel line, actually. Right?
Yeah. The Marvel line came in a little late, so they're now like making the MCU stuff and then a couple different Marvel characters. But yeah, overall, the DC one definitely for sure. There's a few different variations of Batman that they've already released. There's obviously the Flash. There's different Jokers already. So they've already not even just came out with one character, they've come out with like multiple versions of that character in soda form, which I think is pretty cool. I'm a big DC fan. I mean, I love Batman, one of my favorite characters ever. My favorite character of all time is Joker, regardless of Marvel, DC, hero, villain, anything. It's the Joker. And I have a ton of different Joker pops. Obviously, one of my most biggest grails is the bank robber Joker pop. But as far as like sodas, I have all the Joker ones that exist right now. So super excited for if they drop any more in the DC line. But I wanted to ask you, like, what are some of your favorites in DC, whether it's pop, sodas, whatever, that you personally have, or like, because I know you're a huge Marvel fan, but still a DC fan, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a genre comic nerd fan of everything. I am a bigger Marvel fan than DC, but I mean, Batman and Superman are two of my all-time favorite characters. Grew up on them. I've collected a lot of the Batman and Superman ones, where the Marvel line, when the movies come out, I try to get most of them. For DC, I kind of like pick and choose the characters that I want. Ironically, also a huge like Aquaman fan. And when they made like Jason Momoa become Aquaman, I just was like, this is badass. And I have most of his pops. So I'm a big fan of those. And I'm gonna show it off later when we show off her pop, but I will say it's become one of my all-time favorite pops, and it's relatively new, is the first appearance Superman in Action Comics. I love that line. I'm so happy that they're continuing that, and I just love that pop, and I just think it's such a cool idea.
Yeah, super unique. It was a really cool one. I have Superman wise, I think I only have like the Batman vs Superman one that they released in that no, the Justice League one, I think, is the one I have. He's crouching down.
Yep.
I think.
And then they
Yeah,
reused
that's
that exact same molds for the Zack
yeah.
Snyder one and changed it to the
Yes,
black suit.
exactly. Because I have most of that line, like the Justice League line. So like the Flash from that one, the
Yep,
Wonder
so
Woman
do
from
I
that one. So like I
actually.
have that. And then Batman and Joker are the two most that I have, but Batman wise, I have like a lot of different ones. I have the animated series ones. I have all different ones from different movies. And then when they came out with the OG movies, the 1989 Batman and all those villains, I was able to grab all those, Riddler, Penguin. I thought they just looked so cool. They looked very like you knew who they were. Like they looked just like the
Yes.
character from the movie, which I was a big fan of. I just think there's a lot, maybe because maybe they don't have as many shows that are as popular, that kind of thing, where I think that's probably why the overall amount that they have is so much less than Marvel.
Yeah.
Although I do know they make like the Arrow show,
Arrowverse and all
one.
those shows.
Yeah, so they do have those pops.
The one thing though with the
And
DC line versus the Marvel is like they don't milk it like they do in the Marvel. And what I mean by that is like it doesn't bother me, but like Endgame, for example. Endgame comes out, they make a line of pops. They don't want to spoil certain things. Then another wave comes out. I mean, and then another wave comes out. They're still making Endgame pops. I mean, like we just said, the 18-inch Iron Man is an Endgame pop. I feel
yeah,
like for the DC movies, yes, they're not as popular. They come out with the line and that's it. They don't really revisit it. It just that's what came out for, the new Wonder Woman movie. This is what's like when the new Flash movie comes out, they're probably going to make a line and like that's it. We move on. That
yeah.
I think is a huge difference of why the collections aren't as big. Maybe it's because the demand's not there, but they definitely don't continue adding on to the lines.
Yeah, which like you said, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I personally think it's cool. I don't think they need to continue to go back. We've talked
I
about it
I,
with
I like
Marvel.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we like when they come out with certain ones that like oh, they should have made this one before, but when they recycle like a mold or they just kind of slightly change it just to come out with something else, I don't like that aspect of it. I think that with DC they do, because I had wrote down a few different ones, so they do a pretty good job of having different versions though. Like I know the animated series is a big thing, so that's actually I always try to figure this out, but it's not the very first pop I've ever owned. But the animated series, like basically that first wave of the animated series, villains and heroes, was one of my first 10 to 15 pops ever. Was those. So like that's kind of what got me into Funko. So like the Batman,
Okay.
the Mr. Freeze, like all those, like OG Poison Ivy, like Catwoman, that line is kind of what really got me into Funko, along with a few other random ones here and there. But that's really where I started. That animated Joker. They've reused those molds. Like the black light is essentially the animated pops in black light.
Yes.
They did it with the Imperial. They have the Imperial Palace line, the holiday lines. They usually redo the molds, but they kind of at least make it like fit a new genre of like whatever is going on, versus just redoing the mold for the same show, same movie, like in a different little bit of a different pose or a different color. Like, so I like that. I do respect that part of it. The blacklight ones are pretty cool. I think it's interesting that they still have only kept it to 3 when blacklight has blown up. So it was weird that it's only Batman, Joker, and Harley, and they haven't dropped any other ones. I think we've seen maybe some rumors that there'll be some other
Yep.
characters coming out, but I feel like they could totally expand that aspect because characters like Superman, Flash, and Aquaman, for instance, like they could totally be in blacklight. I think they would look
I mean, they
pretty
should
sick,
be.
actually.
I think
Yeah,
the
they look
problem
pretty
is
sick.
to go back, like Marvel has just become so mainstream that it's we've said it before, I'll say it again. It's there's no doubt in my mind that's their number one selling license. That's why they
Yeah,
make so many of them. They milk every show and movie because they know the fans are going to buy it. And DC just like isn't there anymore because they have not been able. I love DC because I've always liked this stuff. I liked it when it wasn't cool.
yeah,
So, but like DC just hasn't really been able to break that barrier into like mainstream, like super fandom like Marvel has. They just
yeah.
haven't.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I think the movies is where they've really been dropping the ball. Like obviously we have some icon like The Dark Knight to me is one of the greatest superhero movies like ever. But it's just so limited. Like you can't like with Marvel, obviously you could be like there's
Yeah.
four Avengers movies that really like the last two, but the four Avengers movies you could be like, these are some of the four best movies ever. Like that's crazy to say. But with DC, they have been dropping the ball with like some movies just not hitting right, not being like, as popular. I think like they don't do the whole comic thing right. Then the comic, like the comedy. I mean, like the
No,
whole
they don't.
comedy
It's
aspect, they don't
all
do that
most of the movies
right.
are dark, which also
So
don't
it's a
make
little
them
bit darker and
accessible.
serious. Yeah. So if you're like a hardcore fan or you're big into the comics or whatever, like you're gonna be a fan. But yeah, you're not gonna get those common people who are just happen to like, oh, action and a cool like hero and that kind of thing, like they do with Marvel sometimes. So it's unfortunate because I think some DC shows are really done really well. I think like the Flash and Arrow, I think they've outdone it. They should stop by now. But I think for a
Yes.
little while they were really, really, really good shows. And I feel like if they did more of that kind of thing and maybe translated it better into movies, I think this new Flash movie maybe something that will get some people more excited just because of they're bringing back Michael Keaton for it, like that kind of thing. So maybe they'll figure it out, but I think they're just so far behind Marvel. Like we don't mean to make this into a Marvel versus
No.
DC type of thing, but it does make sense as to why we're talking about the toys and what people aren't buying or maybe people are. I think Batman Forever will still be popular. That was funny. I didn't mean Batman Forever the movie.
Yeah.
I think Batman, I think Batman himself as a mold and a character, I think will always be popular. So I think if they come out with a Batman, it's generally going to be good. Like look at the diecast. The diecast is probably
Exactly.
one of the newer Batman pops that came out, and it sold. It was very popular, restocked, sold right away. So that I think will always be Joker probably right behind him. Superman, I feel like is tricky because like you got those hardcore people, and then you got some people that are just kind of like about it. I just don't think there's enough big characters that the common normal somewhat fan, gets excited about. And I think that's what's missing with some of their like pops.
I mean, I completely agree with you. And even then, like they don't make like I loved the Snyder cut. And in my opinion, it's like, okay, why did we not get Joker pop from that movie? Like, why didn't we
Yeah.
get the Deathstroke one? Like, those are ones I feel like the fans would want. I mean, that's like the one line that I actually completed. It wasn't that big. I didn't get the exclusive ones to the DC shop. I tried to, but they sold
Yeah.
out immediately. But like, I loved those pops. I love the Superman in the black suit. Like, it's just, to me, it's so badass. I love the mold. But yeah, they just haven't been able to even make, in my opinion, these like they're missing out on so many good characters that they could be making.
Yeah. I totally agree. I was gonna actually say one character. I know we've kind of talked about this before in the past, and it's obviously for reasons due to the actor, I'm assuming, like we've said before. But one is Joaquin Phoenix as Joker.
Yeah,
Obviously, we have like I would absolutely want that as a pop. I love that movie. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I love the Joker. So I think he would lend perfectly to a pop because
the
of just his
colors.
outfit, his
Yeah,
colors. Yeah, like the paint on his face, everything was just like perfect to be translated into a Funko Pop. But I think you had mentioned at one point where, an actor like Joaquin Phoenix, similar to Tom Cruise, like they just don't allow people to make likenesses of them.
yeah.
However, I feel like I've seen action figures of that Joker pop,
I
or not
think
pop,
the
but of that Joker figure
only,
though.
I think the only thing, and I could be wrong, but that he has is a hot toy,
Hot toy, yeah.
which is like 100% likeness. Those are
Yep.
that's like I don't have any of those. I really, really want one, but they're
Hmm.
super expensive, and I just haven't been
Yeah.
able to like I indulge in
Yeah, I've
this
never pulled
hobby.
the trigger
If
on
I ever
those.
pull the trigger on that, like my wife would probably be like, "Are you insane?" I mean, some of them are up to like $500, but I do
Yeah.
believe there is one of that, which is really interesting to me. I don't know if he allowed that because like it 100%, like those are so accurate. It's like creepy looking. I know,
Yep.
like it was not to go off on a tangent, but I mean, Tom Holland is recently doing press for Spider-Man, and he had made a joke like there is one of him just as Peter Parker wearing his like high school uniform, and he's just like, it's just super creepy because like it's not me as Spider-Man, it's just me basically
It's just
someone
him.
has a doll of me and myself wearing clothes. And like they're that life looking. Like they're
Yeah,
really
they
cool.
really are. It's crazy how good they make those molds. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's obviously probably some licensing thing, whatever. I had heard for a little while could have been some of the controversy behind the movie, because obviously the movie was a little bit controversial with
Yeah.
like, how it portrayed a lot of things and mental illness and all that kind of crazy stuff. But I don't know. Like
I
I
don't
think
buy that.
still, like, yeah, it's a character. It's still in the DC world. Like it still was a very popular one. I think it would look amazing. I've seen people do some customs and do some pretty good jobs, some custom pops of that Joaquin Phoenix Joker. But
I
that's
want,
one that I like
yeah.
really want.
It's so funny you say that. I wanted to bring that up. I've never bought like a custom pop of like a character like that. I have that is the one character that I've almost bought one from because like
Yeah.
I really want it, and people have made some really cool looking ones.
Yeah.
And I just
So
really wish like we could, they're making a Joker too, and at that point, maybe they'll work out a deal. I don't see them coming out with a popular that movie again, and they don't make any Funkos from it. It's just I don't see that happening. I even feel like WB is going to find a way to force Joaquin Phoenix into being in collectibles. For all I know, it's in his new contract.
yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, I'm sure they get money off of that too. So like, I just think it would be a cool one. That was one that like right off the bat, like I was like, if what's missing in DC, and obviously as a Joker fan, I was right away thinking of that. The other one would be, I think it's kind of odd, and maybe it's because they came out with the 18-inch so long ago, but I think it's odd that they don't have a 10-inch of a Batman. And it's like, I feel like that would be super popular because that price point's not too crazy. If you do want a big Batman, just lends, it's just an
Yep.
awesome
And they
figure
make
to be in a
Superman.
bigger form. And yeah, they make Super actually have Superman. So like that, it's to me, I was like, why don't they have it? And they obviously they had the 18-inch, but it was expensive or hard to get and it sold out. So like that's one that I wish like was something that
I
I
think part
want
of
to be
the
in that
that's
form.
another something funny you bring that up. Another problem with DC, Batman in general, even though everyone's always going to love Batman, where Marvel, like it's very select few like the MCU is what's made Marvel super popular, and like one character has played the character.
Yes.
There are
Yeah.
so many people that have played Batman. It's almost just like, which one do we make? If are we overdoing this one actor? I mean, is there even a Christian Bale version of?
Yeah.
There is, right? Okay.
There is the Dark Knight, yeah, because the original Dark Knight line was it's actually the Dark Knight Rises line, I believe, or it's a Dark Knight. It's like a Dark Knight, the whole thing.
Okay.
And there's a Christian Bale, there is the Catwoman and Bane. They
Yes,
all dropped
those I've seen.
first.
Yep.
Yeah, those three dropped first together, and then they dropped the Heath Ledger Joker and the bank robber Joker. And it's actually funny that you brought that up. I wanted to bring this up when I was looking, because you can look up the list of like where they number them, and
Yep.
you can see where they drop. And the first three, then it was the two Jokers, and then they were supposed to drop the Heath Ledger Joker in the nurse's outfit,
That would be a great
and
pop.
it got canceled. So that
Interesting.
number, whatever number that pop is missing in the heroes. So it goes from the bank robber to whatever was the
Do you
next
think it was
pop.
because it was going to come out after he passed away, Heath Ledger?
That's what I thought, because it was next in line. So maybe not, or maybe it just wasn't made yet. And then once, because obviously he passed away in the movie, like, before
Yeah.
the movie came out. So it was like all very close. So I wonder if that was why, because if they already came out with two versions of him and they had a third one in mind, there has to be a reason why they didn't make it, because that thing would have been super. I mean, I still think it's weird that the normal one isn't as expensive and popular, probably because they made just
Too many
billions
of
of
them.
them. Yeah, because the bank robber one, obviously, we know is a huge growth. It's the most expensive pup I own, and it's like sick, but hard to get. I feel like this thing would have been exactly the same, because even the Bane and those, like that one's a grail as well too. Those are pretty hard to get. So yeah, I thought it was interesting that like they skipped it. It's cool. You could see that it was supposed to be a certain number, and now they went on to the next one. But that would have been awesome. Imagine that, him in the
Yeah.
outfit.
And
Like,
I feel like it's funny though. That to me is like something now maybe I wouldn't. I would like if they revisited, because even like the 10-inch Joker, I mean, that's pretty new and that's of Heath Ledger. So it's not
Yeah,
like
that's true.
they wouldn't do it now. And the soda too, actually. So yeah, it's
Yep.
weird that they didn't make that pop. I wonder if they just thought it was going to be a weird mold.
Yeah, it has to be some reason. But I mean, I know they sometimes can stuff once in a while, but it was interesting to see that the name and the number, like it was supposed to be that one, and then that it got canceled at some point.
So
But
now
yeah,
there is a
that was a
Funko
little.
Pop of every bat. There, one of every person who's played Batman now has a Funko Pop. I think after that, like, collection came out for the anniversary a few years ago. Is that correct?
I believe so. As far as like movie wise goes, yes. But like actually to touch on something you said before, one thing that is interesting is obviously Marvel, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. So
Yep.
every pop that comes out as Iron Man, unless it's like the OG first appearance comic looking Iron Man, super red and yellow that they have, it's pretty much Tony Stark of Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr.'s version in different movies, and obviously his outfit might change, the suit that he has changes, but yeah, with Batman, it's crazy because they just have so many different versions. It's not like they have the one Batman 50 different times. They literally
Yeah.
might have 40 to 50 different Batmans. And it's not even just movies, it's the animated one. There's so many different versions of him in the comic, Batman Beyond. Like there's different versions of him now in the sodas. They just did Batman Who Laughs. Like it's still, I think because to me, I still think like Batman, the comic is still, or the comic, that whole aspect of
Yeah.
Batman is still more popular than like, not to say it's more popular than Marvel Comics, but I think the movie part of Marvel got more popular, where
100%.
DC stuck with like the comics, or like the underground, like the comic book or
Yeah,
graphic
people
novels and
who
that
are
kind of thing.
like don't want to accept that, you know, comic book culture has become mainstream. Yeah, they're definitely the hardcore like DC people. Like, I only like the
Yep.
comics, the movies are garbage type
Yep.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Which and it seems like they do a good job. Like actually, one of the pops I'm going to show at the end too is comic related DC, very comic related DC one, like graphic novel that they have, and it's just I like that aspect of it. So I do like that it's a little more unique with that, and not just like you said, Marvel will milk one character hundreds different times, even if it's only for 3 or 4 different movies. But yeah, I find it interesting. Is there any pop off the top of your head, DC wise, that you wish they did make that they don't have? I know the Joaquin was one of my biggest ones that I can think of, but
Yeah, I mean, I really wish I said earlier is that they made the version of the Joker that was just now in the Zack Snyder version. I know they have
yeah,
Jared Leto's version
that
from the
little.
Suicide Squad, but like they completely changed his look for the Justice League. So I really wish they made one of those. I also wish they made a Martian Manhunter from that movie. I feel like
Yeah,
uh, I I guess I'm happy they came out pops of that. Obviously, the whole release of Snyder Cut was like a huge movement in the community, and the fact
mhm.
that they actually did it was so awesome. I mean, I've been wanting that forever. I kind of wish they just made more pops from that. Like they didn't even make a new Batman one. They didn't make a new Flash. Like they only made essentially the characters that weren't in the first movie, even though
Yeah,
they could have, there were different scenes that weren't in, like Iris was in this movie and she wasn't in the Josh Whedon cut. So like maybe if we could have got an Iris West pop, like stuff like that. I love that
yeah,
movie.
yeah. I think it's interesting why they didn't, like what the reason is. But it feels like overall they're not pumping out as many DC pops anyways. And when we do get them, we get kind of like in the con that's coming up, we get that one DC girl. Can't remember her name now
The
off the top of my head, but like
Power Girl, was it?
yeah, it's something. Yeah. And it's like they
They
kind
make
of will drop
random
random ones
ones.
like
Yeah.
that. And like yeah, some that you don't really know as popular. I wonder if they're gonna do the new Batman, if they're gonna drop that line. That'll be
That
interesting.
yeah, that I think is going to be the first line that rivals like a Marvel line, in my opinion. I do feel like they're going to milk that movie because
Yeah,
it's the first time Funko has been so mainstream and popular that a Batman only movie is coming out.
is releasing. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just about Batman.
Yeah,
I
that's
think we're
true.
gonna get a lot of that.
Yeah, because the last time, if you think about it, last time was the Dark Knight series and all that. And we have some pops of those, and look at them. They're pretty, pretty sought after, pretty expensive exclusive pops. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think they'd be sick. I mean, it's a different bat suit. So, like the mold's gonna be completely different. They've done, like we said before, every other Batman in a movie, Clooney and all of
Yeah.
them. So like they should do this. It just makes sense. And then it will probably be super cool to see the Riddler and see Penguin and get those characters as well, Selena Kyle and stuff. So I'm interested, super interested in if they're going to do that. But
And
I
then
hope they do.
another pop that I really want that I just thought of is General Zod from the Christopher Reeve movies. I would just like to
They don't
see
have
more
that one.
pop. No, they've never made, and people correct me if I'm wrong, they've never made any pops from those movies.
Oh, wow.
I don't know
Yeah, maybe
why.
not. It
Like,
could just be because it's before. I mean, it's a pretty old. It's
no, I
well
know it's
before
old,
Funko and
but
everything. But
they've
it's
made
weird that they
like
don't
the
revisit it.
80s Batman movies.
Yeah, sure. They did the Adam West and all that. So it's interesting that they, huh? It'd be
Yeah, I
maybe
don't,
with this one coming out now with the
it
Reeves
means they're
one, the
going
two
to.
pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe now they got the mold. Maybe it was a process to get that license specifically to get his likeness or something.
Yeah, I don't get
So
it. Just the whole DC, like the way they make what they decide to make, like Superman and Lois, pretty popular show now on CW. They didn't make anything of that. Like, why? Like, I mean, I watched that show. I don't watch any of the shows on CW anymore. I know we've talked in the past, like I used to.
yeah,
That
same.
show was actually really good, extremely underrated. It should be more popular.
Yeah.
And there's been nothing
I
from Funko from it.
I said it before. I think their shows are really good. Like I tell you, like the first, let's say, I think they're on an episode, they're on like season 7 now or whatever. But like the first four, maybe 4 seasons of Flash and even Arrow were very, very good. And like then it just kind of it's like one of those things that like eventually like everything kind of like
Yep.
will water down and not be as good. And they're just kind of pushing it and doing too much. And they're still to this day still kind of going. But I feel like they did, and it was crazy. It was a CW show. Like it's not a
Yeah.
mainstream huge, it's HBO or anything like that. And it's like they did a pretty good job of it. Like they could totally make a solid, and even the animated, honestly, some of the animated stuff is amazing. The animated Batman show, like the actual
Yeah.
cartoon, is so good. Teen Titans stuff is really good. Even the Titans,
I
the
was just
more darker, like a rated R version,
yeah.
is super cool
I,
too.
I was just about to bring that up. That like, why have they made no Funko Pops of that or Doom
They
Patrol? Like
don't, yeah. I
any
was gonna
of the
say they have the toy one, like the cartoon ones and the
yeah,
animated Teen Titans Go and stuff,
like
which
that
makes
that
why not do Titans?
that show's pretty. I really like that show, and even Doom Patrol, all the
Doom
shows that
Patrol.
were on DC Universe that just moved over to HBO Max. Like the Harley Quinn animated show is super
Yeah.
popular. She's a
Hmm.
huge character. Like, why have they not made any of the pops from that line? I'm gonna go with the DC line must just not make them a lot of money.
Yeah, it has to be like an overall, like they just
Because
kind of
if
don't
it was
look to pump those out.
there's no way they would have missed a Marvel television show in pops. Like I like totally forgot about the Titan show that they've made nothing for that. And some of the
Yeah, I
characters are
I just
really
thought
cool
about
in
the
that.
show and I forgot they haven't made. Yeah,
Like
they look
Nightwing, yeah, like
cooler.
yeah,
Yeah, they make like they exist. Like they have a Nightwing pop. It's just not
it's a comic for
specific
yeah,
to. Yeah, it's not specific to that. They don't have like some of the other characters that are very specific to that show that'll say Titans on it. Like where it's like where it's coming from. The Doom Patrol. I don't think they make anything for that
no,
either. So like it's interesting to see like as we're like unpacking this, it's crazy that there are so many. Like at first I was like, there's probably only a few things that they're missing, but there's a lot of specifically shows. Because I guess movie wise, they've kind of knocked it down, but there's not as many movies. We kind of went over that.
no,
So like they kind of can get those, and they're releasing every few years. It's not like they're back to back like Marvel. And with Marvel, they're spitting them out. Even if a movie, 3, 4 movies come out in a year, they have lines for all of them. So it's interesting. It's definitely making. I can guarantee that. I mean, the Marvel is definitely making them the most money. It's more popular.
yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. That doesn't mean that you just don't make anything for this other line that still is an OG line that you've had for a really long time,
time.
and like you could still get people to collect. And maybe some people haven't really gotten into Funko so hardcore because they are big DC fans, and you haven't come up with some of this stuff. So it's definitely missing there. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I got to say about DC. I mean, we kind of went a little bit more than I even thought about getting into because we started figuring out all this stuff about stuff that's missing. But it is an interesting thing. I mean, like, we kind of made it almost like a Marvel versus DC type of thing, but it's hard not to with those two huge, comic side. But we want to show off a pop. We haven't done this in a little bit, but obviously with this one being specific to DC, we do want to show off something that we, is in our collection that was really one of our favorites. That is a DC pop specifically we're going to do and just tell you a little bit about it. I know Charlie mentioned his before, so he can show off his a little bit why, he likes it, whatever. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, you will see. If you're not, he'll describe kind of what he's showing off.
So this is the Action Comics. This is where Superman debuted, where it all began. I love this line. This is the first one they've made, and I love that it has the comic book cover in the back, and then it has the pop in there. I really like the box design. They come also, it's in like a hard display, so you can take it out of this box and still display it if you want. And they're making a Batman one actually for the Detective Comics, which we had pre-ordered and they canceled it. I don't know where that's coming. I'm gonna
word on that.
I need to get that. And then we've mentioned, I think in the past, Marvel started this line. The first two that are coming out are exclusive to Target, and they're of Wanda and Vision. I love this line. I haven't collected anything like this where they've made the video game ones, which some of them are kind of cool. I do want to add them to my collection. I just haven't gotten any. It reminds me also a little bit of like the album, like the artists. Don't have any of those. And I think it's cool. And it's a cool display piece for showing off your fandom. And I just really like this one that it shows off the comics as well. And I've heard they're making movie poster ones, so I'm gonna really like those as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so I do have that comic, the Superman one. I think it's super cool. It is a little bit bigger. You need space to display it. If you're super nitpicky and you like these smaller ones, then you may not like it. But I love that it's a nostalgic thing. It's a throwback to the OG original first time you see him. I think with the Batman one, they picked a cool one, the detective side. So like I like the way it looks. I'm a fan of the album. So the pop albums, I actually have 9 of them, which is I think all the ones that have officially like actually been released. And I love them. They take up a little bit of space, but I just like the way how it's in that case. You get a cool looking pop that you don't see. It's not recycled or anything. So they're giving you something cool. That one's awesome because you get the little comic in the back. So it's not a real comic, but like the picture of the cover, which I think is an awesome thing. And yeah, the Batman one, I mean, we've been waiting for it. And then it got canceled, and now I don't even know what's going on with that because no one's like selling it, and I don't know if there was just like a crazy backorder delay on that thing. But yeah, hopefully it does come out. The Wanda ones, I know we did. I pre-ordered those as well. Those look super cool as well. But the one I'm going to show off. So, like I said before, this was kind of more like a very specific comic graphic novel. Actually, this is one of my favorite pops that I own, and definitely one of my favorite Joker pops because obviously I love the Joker. Besides like the bank robber Joker, there's a couple that I really, really like, but it is the Joker from The Killing Joke. This pop is a crazy thing about this. So this is the Batman Joker's. This is the Batman Killing Joke Joker. So this is him, of course, in his little outfit there with like the Hawaiian shirt. He's got the camera and his top hat. Super cool. And I love this art on the back, which of course is from the actual Killing Joke novel. He looks super crazy. I actually have this as well. It's from 2016. So this was actually a New York Comic Con. Look at that sticker. So different than they are now.
Yeah.
So 2016 New York Comic Con limited edition. This pop is one of those pops that like when I was getting into pops and I started collecting, I started getting Joker ones, and then I got like the standard Heath Ledger one, the animated ones, all these other ones. And there was 2 pops that I was like, I need to get these 2 pops. And it was the Bank Robber Joker and the Killing Joke. And I was able to finally get this one, the Killing Joke one. I got it before the Bank Robber one, obviously, because it's not as pricey. But luckily, I can't remember how I got it. I think it might have been off of somebody on Whatnot. But I was so hyped when I saw that I was able to get this. And I got it for a pretty good price. But yeah, I love this pop. It's super cool. The actual story, the the graphic novel that is amazing. I think it's such an intense like storyline and like what ends up happening. You know, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody if you haven't checked it out, but it is such a cool one. And like that Joker, like he is just played so well in that one. I mean, I love the animated Joker, honestly. I mean, Mark Hamill's version of the Joker is so crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. I want to bring that up. I could be wrong, and he listened. So comment below if I'm wrong. My cousin, I think, has that pop signed by Mark Hamill.
Oh, that would be sick.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Yeah, I have the Mark Hamill as Joker, but it's not signed by him, but like Mark Hamill as Joker pop, because I was like, this is like an awesome one. But yeah, this, if I got this signed, that would be insane. Yeah, I love that pop. It's such a cool pop. I just because I obviously love Joker, but that was one I had to have, and I was glad I was able to actually get it.
Yeah, and it's the actual New York Comic Con sticker, not the share exclusive. Or was that
actual con?
Yeah.
And yeah, this was a one of those ones. Obviously, you had to go to the con to get. Yeah, because it was 2016, so it was pre-pandemic and everything when it was really, really popular. So, and this was before I was collecting. I wasn't even collecting at that time. So I'm glad I was able to get it. But yeah, that's one of my favorites. But that is what we had to show off for you guys for our DC episode. Thank you everybody for listening. And, we always like to tell you guys, if you're listening or watching, we really appreciate it. But if you haven't already, definitely check us out on YouTube. If you're only listening, even if you just come over on YouTube, just show us support by subscribing to our channel. We're closing in on 100 subscribers. We're getting close. It's been a kind of a tough battle to get up there. We're trying to get it out there for you guys to make sure that, you guys support us by at least subscribing, like on the video as well, because if you do that, it'll help us with the algorithms and everything with YouTube. We want to make sure that people are seeing this. We do have some pretty hardcore regular fans that we are out there. We really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
We know that, you're definitely appreciated, but we want to continue to grow this for sure. And if you're listening, we appreciate you guys too, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, whatever it may be. Thank you so much. And definitely check us out on Instagram. Our Instagram handles on here on YouTube, you can see them. All our links are down below and everything. We do talk a lot on our Collector Chatter Instagram throughout our stories and stuff. Charlie will put up different like polls and things, or we'll put up whenever we see drops and releases, we like to just kind of put it out there to you guys throughout the week. But yeah, anything else from you, Charlie? I know,
Yeah, just I reiterate everything Meg said. Just thank you for all the support, and please, continue to be, interactive with us. We're both here always. We love talking to everyone who have the same interests as us in the community, especially on this. Like, I know when we did the Marvel episode, a lot of people commented what Marvel pops they would like to see, like do this for DC. Like, there's just so many things that me and Miguel may not be thinking of, and I would just love to know, like, oh man, I really wish that they did make that pop. So just do that, and or let us know on Instagram. And just thank you for all the support, and we love doing this show.
Yep. And that was episode 12, Collector Chatter. Thank you guys so much. And like we always say, take it easy, guys. I'm Miguel.
And I'm Charlie. Until next week, guys.